Hello and welcome to another edition of A Better Life. I'm Dr. Lucas Fry, your host for the next half hour. But the people that are with me are the important people that you're going to meet on this show because they are going to help you have a better life. Coming up later in the show, I've got Hank Hannigan. We're going to be speaking to Hank about finances and things that you can do to better your life. But first, I think something that every one of us, especially you couch potatoes stuck at home watching television right now, really need to pay attention to, and that's your wellness. If you would, welcome to the show first, right off the bat, Kathy Ramey with Eclipse Wellness and Performance.
Hello.
Hello there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your background and why you got into wellness.
Well, my name is Kathy Ramey. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been out of school for about 18 years. And probably the last 4 years, we decided that we really needed to bring something to the community that would really impact it. We do traditional therapy, but we wanted to make sure we did something that would be lifelong. Our slogan is to really have a holistic approach to therapy, meaning that we're not just focusing on just one aspect. We're working with a group to make sure it's a lifelong change. And we partnered up with the YMCA, who allows us the opportunity to use the YMCA as our therapy clinic. We're located inside the Exxon Mobil YMCA, where we have several specialized programs. And one of the most important ones that we've been working on for the last couple of years has been our arthritis program, which really is catered towards helping all of those people who have not found the best solution on how to really kind of work with it and live with it from the day to day.
Arthritis is something that affects all of us. I mean, I'm getting
Definitely.
older and you definitely feel the things starting to happen in your body. And you see all these ads, you know, television's got a plethora of drugs that they're offering people. This will take care of your arthritis. But every doctor I ever talked to says it all comes down to movement.
It definitely, it solves the problem a lot. I think when we try to understand what arthritis is about, the most important thing is that the people who are having the most problem with arthritis are those people who are not moving their joints. If your joints are not moving and you're not keeping the mobility within your joints, then those are the people who are ending up having the long-term effect of it.
Does arthritis strike one particular part of the body first? That there areas it everywhere. I mean, it could be in the hands, it could be in the feet, it could be in the back.
It can be everywhere, and the most important part is, depending on what type of arthritis you have, that makes a difference too. By no means one solution for one person is the solution for everybody.
You were saying before we started about, I mentioned that I see people with a crippling effect in their hands.
Right.
That's rheumatoid arthritis?
That's rheumatoid arthritis.
And that one's hard to heal? Or
that one's hard to heal. Well, remember that a lot of times with arthritis, it can have some autoimmune effect to it. And when you start talking about rheumatoid arthritis, you're talking about an arthritis that a lot of time is hereditary. These are really found at younger ages. The osteoarthritis is a lot of times just the wear and tear of aging or on a joint. But the rheumatoid arthritis, a lot of times we find that a lot in younger people. So over time, those people who don't move, it hurts too bad to move, so you sit still. And these are the people after a length of time can't move.
A lot of people that take their children and put them into dance, and I'm speaking firsthand experience. A lot of people will put their daughters, especially the daughters, into dance programs at a very, very young age. Mm-hmm. And I have yet to meet a dancer that is in their 40s or 50s that's not experiencing arthritis.
That's exactly it. And I say a lot of times, because a lot of the people we end up meeting are some of the people who always said they played sports when they were in high school. And unfortunately, every college athlete we see. Because
so what are we trying to tell people? I mean,
well, you know, that's what we worked on so hard to say, and what the program at our clinic is all about. It's about a holistic approach, about not just sitting and taking the medicine and letting the medicine be your solution to the problem. At our clinic, we've worked very hard to make this holistic program where there's a nutritionist, because if we don't understand the importance of how your diet affects your arthritis, that's a big problem. The second thing is to really focus on the physical aspect of it, being active, making sure you're just doing at least 10-15 minutes of exercise. That makes a difference with your arthritis. A lot of the clients who come and they come to our clinic, they're just outdone that we're making them do just these little movements. We've put into us being inside the Y, we're able to get our clients into Pilates. We're able to get them into yoga. We have the aquatic therapy there. So for those clients who couldn't even walk, but you can get into the water and you can do jumping jacks, they're all like, I can't believe this can happen. for those clients who have the arthritis in their backs, for them to be able to come and just have some relief. What I tell every client the first day I meet you is that I can't make it a 0, I can't cure arthritis, but I definitely can make you live between a 1 and 2 instead of constantly taking medicine every day and living in a 10. And that's the goal.
That's a better life. Right
That's
there.
a better life. But we're fortunate at the YMCA because all of our clients who come to therapy, and because our idea is such a holistic approach, our big to-do is to make it a lifelong change. All of our clients who come to therapy, we pay for them to have Y membership as long as they're in therapy.
Oh, wow.
So all of our arthritis patients are not just coming 2 days a week for therapy for an hour. You have an opportunity to come every day, 7 days a week, to continue with the program that we've set up. And then when you're finished, the Y has had a great opportunity for all of our clients to be able to continue that. And then your whole family's into this routine. There's programs for everybody to come. And then in the summertime, the kids are in the water. So we're just making it a bigger picture, not just about one little thing. It's a bigger picture.
So how do they get in touch with you to find out more about your program?
In order to get in touch with us, we're located at the ExxonMobil YMCA. All they have to do is give us a call. Our phone number is 225-588-2688. If they give us a call, we always are willing to at least do a 10-15-minute consult for anybody who just wants to come in and say, look, you said I can get better. This is what I'm doing. Is there a way you can help us? And then at that time, with the 15-minute consult, we're able to look at you and say, yeah, I can help you. This is what you need to do. And most of the time, in order to come, we're a physical therapy clinic. We take all kinds, not just arthritis. So you have to have a physician order to participate in the program. And we can help you with the steps and the next step of getting into the program. But if you give us a call, we're willing to at least do a screening.
Okay, if you lost that phone number already, don't forget you can always email me at WLFT.com and I will get you in touch with these people. Go by the YMCA, ask them about the programs they've got, and definitely check out what these people are doing because everybody needs help in order to have a better life. And this is definitely a program that I'm going to stand behind because I've met some people that are involved with it and they definitely are helping people out. So I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much.
And we'll have you check back with us next year and see how things are going,
Great.
okay? We'll be back in just a second. Right now, here's a word from our sponsors, people who care about our show, and they'll be back with Hank Hannigan. Welcome back to A Better Life. I'm Dr. Lucas Fry. Wasn't that fun learning about Eclipse and the YMCA programs they have? Tell you what, you definitely can check that out and have a better life. But with me now is a person that definitely can help you have a better life. And I tell you, I've enjoyed his friendship for the past year and a half since I've gotten into town. And matter of fact, he was the first person to take me to lunch.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that. He was the first person to take me to lunch in this town.
I enjoyed it.
Hank Hannigan is with us, of course, and Hank is the Marketplace Ministry Pastor of Bethany World Prayer Center. Let's talk about that just a little bit. Hank, what does the Marketplace Ministry do?
Of course, we host every Wednesday a businessmen's luncheon, businessmen in the marketplace. And I do a lot of financial counseling. I help advise young people to start businesses. So deal with people in the marketplace. A lot of churches these days have a marketplace ministry pastor on staff to handle the marketplace. And
Tell us about the men's luncheon.
Every Wednesday at our South Campus at 12 to 1, we host a businessmen's luncheon. 200 to 300 businessmen come from all walks of life. We eat from 12 to 12:20, and I host a meeting. We introduce first-time guests, and Pastor Larry Stockstill teaches a biblically based principle business lesson for about 15-20 minutes. There are tables of 8. There's discussion, and at 1 o'clock we say amen, and everybody heads back to the office.
Let me tell you, that's a hot ticket.
Yes.
I mean, the first one I went to, I was really impressed. I mean, you think that, you know, that it's just going to be a bunch of guys from the church getting together, eating a free snack, but I'm telling you what, there is people there from governors to mayors to every person, to guys that are just auto mechanics. I mean, it's a great place to network and meet other fellow Christians, have a free lunch.
That's correct.
And of course, tipping is accepted.
Yes.
I want to say that because it does cost money to do that. There's a basket on there, but you don't have to put money in it. But the food is always incredible. Who does the preparation for the food? You cook that yourself?
Oh, no. We have a staff here with a commercial kitchen here at Bethany that provides the food and
Always
the meal.
good. First class.
Always first class meal. But here's the thing about it, Doc. 90% of the men that come on a regular basis do not attend Bethany.
That's true.
There's Methodists, there's Catholics, there's Baptists, there's Presbyterian, there's a couple of Methodist pastors come. In the past, we've even had a rabbi come.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all walks of life, whether they own a business or work. Even if they're unemployed, they stand up, introduce themselves as a first-time guest. I need a job. My background is in IT or banking or whatever. And a lot of times we're able to hook up men that need a job with a good employer.
Let's back up a little bit. I've only been here a year and a half, and a lot of people sitting here watching television right now are going, what is Bethany? What is... Give us a little bit of history about this little church that's located up in Baker and has another little church down there along the interstate. Tell us a little bit about the history.
1963, Pastor Roy Stockstill, the Lord told him to turn right down here in Brownsville, to go up to Baker there, and he looked over and he saw a little white house for sale, and he knocked on the door and he walked in there, and he started with his family and I think 6 other people in his living room there. And of course, he pastored it up to...
Where did he come from? Was the car break down here, or was he from
No,
here?
he used to pastor here in Baton Rouge at a local church, and the Lord just put it on his heart to go and start his own church, not a denominational church, a church that is free and led by the Spirit. And that's what he did. And
so start off in the house.
Started off in the house.
6 or 7 couples or whatever.
6 or 7, about 3 couples, and built a little small building right next door here.
Now, where's this located? Are we
This is in
close to that here in Baker?
Right here, a plank road in Baker, building which is now a little small gym. And then I think in 83, 84, Pastor Larry Stockstill, which is Brother Roy's son, took over the church from him. And
let's back up just a second. Now, you said the gymnasium. That's still in existence.
Yeah.
It's a storage unit. Now,
Storage unit,
That was
right.
actually the second church.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly
People
right.
told me that was the first church, but that isn't. That was the second.
It was an old sway back white wooden building, and then they built a seat auditorium, 18, and things of that nature. And then when Brother Larry Stockstill took over from his dad in the early 80s, the Lord just gave him the vision to build the 6,000 seat auditorium that we have up here in Baker today. And in 1985, my wife and I walked up the ramps of this brand new church building that they were dedicating, and all I can say, Doc, is I smelt something. It wasn't fresh paint, and when they kicked off the praise and worship music, my wife and I looked at each other and said, we have found our home. And been in church our whole life, and you know, people standing up, praising worship, clapping the hands and standing up and dancing to the Lord. And you know, I grew up dancing. I took dancing lessons when I was young, and I looked at my wife, I said, I'm not going to quit dancing, I'm just changing partners.
You know, the funny thing about it, I really enjoy about my job, is when people start talking about their experiences of walking with the Lord, and the way your face lit up, and I've known you for a year and a half now, the way it lit up about you talking about that first time you smelled that smell.
Well,
It's something we want everybody to experience, and it's hard to get everybody to understand what we're talking about. But there is that time in your life that it just clicks, and your life will change forever.
It changed my life. My wife and I grew up in a historical little small church here in North Baton Rouge. And one Wednesday night, we'd had a couple friends of ours that were going up here. They said, you got to go to Bethany. You got to go to Bethany. I said, no. We're not going. And one Wednesday night, my wife said, I'm going to go visit that crazy church.
The crazy church.
As she called it. And I said, okay, I'll stay home and keep the kids. They have homework to do. I figured church started at 7 and be over at 8.
Right.
She got home about 9:15. Her eyes were about that big around. And she says, I'm not going back to the little church that she grew up in. I said, why? She says, I can't go where God's presence is not. I felt the presence of God tonight. I said, we had to visit Sunday as a couple, and we brought our 2 children, and so we did that, and that's when I had that experience of walking up. We call the North Foyer there, and I said, whoa, this is home.
All right, we got to take a break, but when we come back,
Yes.
we're going to talk about finances
Yes.
and how we can help people try and get their life together, because we've already told you one way you can get your life together, and that's by finding you a church that gets you that smell, and it'll lead to a better life. We'll be back in just a moment.
Yes.
Welcome back to A Better Life. I'm Dr. Lucas Fry. Of course, with me is Hank Hennigan. He is the Marketplace Minister, pastor at Bethany World Prayer Center. And I tell you what, I'm enjoying this visit so much, I'm definitely going to have him back on again. But we want to jump into finance.
Yes.
Because you have a testimony you want to share with us. Why don't you just look at the people at home and tell them what you want to tell them about finance?
Dr. Fry, in 1988, I was a small businessman, and I was sitting in the church here next door on a Sunday morning, and Pastor Larry Stockstill was speaking on finances. And he said, he read the scripture, Romans 13:8, let no debt remain outstanding but the debt to love one another. No debt meaning no debt. Then he says, Proverbs 22:7, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave or servant to the lender. I looked at him and I looked at my wife and I said, I'm a slave to the lender.
That's right.
I'm a small businessman, a very good business, running a little small billboard business in 16 parishes in southern part of Mississippi. I never abused credit cards, but I was $750,000 in debt, $750,000 in 1988. I can take you to the pew where I was sitting when this revelation came upon me. I went to my CPA, who was my best friend, college roommate, and he says, you have 2 choices. You can declare bankruptcy or work out a plan. And I said, bankruptcy is not in my vocabulary. I said, I want to work out a plan. And I went to my bankers and I told them what my plan was, and they said, fine, we'll work with you. I took my 2 children out of high school, they were junior and senior in high school, to my CPA's office and laid the plan out in front of them as well with my wife.
You
and I.
involved the family.
Yeah, involved the family,
decision.
yes. And we started on a road to becoming debt-free, even to the point of selling our house and 2 acres of land, where we raised our 2 children plus 7 others that wasn't ours, and moved to the country right north of Baker here in East Feliciana Parish, bought 6 acres, moved a 600 square foot 1-bedroom house on it. How bad do you want it, Hank? How bad do you want to get out of debt, good people? You got to live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. And that's what my wife and I did. And we lived in this little house for 3 years. So in 1996, I walked into the Final Bank president's office and I laid a $25,000 check down and I said, I owe nobody nothing but the debt to love one another. And
What a feeling.
I felt so free. And since then, I promised my wife that I would build her one more new house, and we did that, and I've worked and paid it off.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, my whole life is to teach debt-free and prosperous living. And here at the church, we do the Financial Peace University classes, the Dave Ramsey classes. And
What's the gist of that? What, just kind of sum up.
the Financial Peace we teach on Sunday nights at 6 o'clock. It's a 9-week course. And there's 7 baby steps that Dave teaches that we go through. But it's a fantastic course to get your whole focus on
Getting out of debt.
and getting, well, not only getting out of debt. You know, Winston Churchill said it best. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give.
True.
We work 40 hours, we get 40 hours, but we give what we give. You know, John D. Rockefeller, he says, I become a millionaire who built half of New York City by following this one simple principle. I gave 10% or tithe, I saved 10%, and I lived off the 80%. And that's how he became one of the wealthiest men in the world. So just following the simple
getting a basic
principles,
principle.
the principles that living below your means, live like no one else, one-bedroom house for 3 years, 600 square feet, so
You got to
later
make sacrifices. There's no
you
doubt.
can, that's exactly right.
But how many people watching out there today are actually saving 10% of your paycheck every week? How many of you are tithing? That's first thing you got to. You
Exactly.
just got to come to grips with that on your own. But when you do, your life will change. Promise you. But man, the idea of saving 10% every paycheck, it's gone. It's in the bank. It's wherever it's got to go. It's got to be done.
That's correct.
Or you have nothing in your future.
And Dave Ramsey and his teaching of Financial Peace University, there are 7 baby steps you must follow. And his first baby step is $1,000 in what he calls his GOK fund, emergency fund, or God only knows fund.
God only. Everybody's going to have.
And
one of
I would
those
like to
days.
come back and go over these total 7 baby steps and what they mean and how a person
Could you
can
come back
become.
and share the
Yes.
entire 7 steps with us?
Yes, be glad
All
to
right,
do that.
tell you what, we're going to challenge you to be on next week then and come back
Yes.
and change clothes so everybody knows we actually did do it the next week.
Okay.
Come back next Friday, we'll tape this and we will do those 7 steps. That sound
Great.
good? We got to go. Remember, have a better life through Christ. See you next week.